Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our services today, we ask that you kindly turn off all cell phones and electronic devices or place them on silent. Thank you.
Adonai Adam Vatedarechu Ben Enosh Vachashvechu Adam le'avel derama Yamav kitzel over Baboker yatzitz v'chalav la'erev the moleh v'yavish tashev enosh adaka vatomer shuvu v'nei Adam. We gather today with many mixed emotions, certainly with the emotion of knowing that Diana, Grandma, Nana Diana, Lady Di, Poopsie, Mom, Mumsy, is no longer with us in this life. But certainly we know in Judaism that someone never really dies. They live on through our hearts, our souls, and our minds, and we call that Ledor Vador, from generation to generation. And certainly it is custom in Judaism for boys and girls who are just born to be named after those that we cherish so very, very much so. I can certainly foresee the future where in your homes there will be many little Dianas running around, and those Lady Dis will be taught that they are named after someone so very, very special that we gather here today with love in our hearts. We also gather with the knowledge that she is on her journey, returning in all God's speed to her eternal resting place to be with those who have gone before her in a reunification of love. And that certainly should give us all some solace and some warmth. Who among us here has not passed through our own trials and bereavements? Some of us bear fresh wounds in our own hearts and therefore feel more keenly the kinship of sorrow with those who love Diana and will always love her. Others of us whose mourning is more remote still recall when a silent hug or a kiss or a word brought comfort to our sorrowing hearts. All things pass, all that lives must die, all that we prize is but lent to us. We are travelers on the same road that leads to the same end. So as King David wrote over 3,000 years ago in the 23rd Psalm, that God will walk us through the valley of the shadow of death, King David never wrote that God will will leave us there. So one day, when you wake up, all that will be left in your hearts are the happy and joy-filled memories of mom, of grandma. And those will be the memories that will last forever, and those will be the ones that you shall remember. So if you know the traditional English words of the 23rd Psalm, we say them out loud with all of our hearts. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in his name's sake down his path. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord. To begin, wonderful words of love. We call up with love Leah and Noah.
Hi everyone, my name is Leah. I'm Diana's first great grandchild, and this is my little brother Noah. My bat mitzvah is in October, and I was hoping she could attend my big day. Since she won't be there, I wanted to read the poem I wrote for her. In the warmth of her pool, we'd dive and we'd play, laughing together, the hours would slip away. The splash of the water, the sun on our face, her love wrapped around us, a never-ending embrace. Her kitchen was magic, with smells so fine, baking sweet treats, everything she made was divine. Cookies and cakes with a secret touch, every bite felt like love, and we cherished it so much. With every holiday, there came a card, her words always special, thoughtful, and smart. They made me smile, even when apart, a simple reminder of her caring heart. She always knew how to make me laugh, with a hint of sarcasm and a warm, loving path. Her humor, her wisdom, the hugs she would give, our memories together, in my heart they will live. I'll miss you so dearly, but I'll always know your love will stay with me and continue to grow.
We love you so much, Nana Diana.
If you had the honor and the privilege of knowing Diana, she went by so many names of love according to your relationship with her. A formal name, a nickname, a silly name. When we say the words, we will remember. Please say the name that she was known to you as, specifically in this life, and the name you will call her when you have the blessing of thinking of her and talking about her. Say that name out loud. In the rising of the sun and at its going down, we will remember. When the chill of the winter turns into the rebirth of spring, we will remember. When the spring turns into the warmth of summer, we will remember. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember. When we have joys we yearn to share, we will remember. At all happy events in the family, like a bat mitzvah, we will remember. So long as we live, she too will live, for she is now a part of us, as we will always remember. We call up with love Jackie, Lauren, and Greg.
We too are going to try and get through this without crying. Do you?
Maybe. We stand here today as three of Diana Soberman's grandchildren, honored to share the story of a woman who was a force of nature, loving, sharp, hilarious, and endlessly giving. She was someone who made everyone feel like family, and today we celebrate her life, her humor, her strength, and of course, her absolute devotion to baking. Grandma was born in the Bronx in 1933, both a first and second generation American, her father from Hungary, her mother born here in the States. She grew up surrounded by family, living with her parents, her brother, and her two aunts, who were like second and third mothers to her. That strong foundation of love and family shaped who she was, a woman who cared deeply, loved freely, and always put others first. She attended public school in New York and later studied at Hunter College. At a party, probably donning her pearls, she met a young beatnik strumming a guitar in his dungarees with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. They fell in love, and she and Robert Soberman were married when she was 21, and together they built a life full of adventure, love, and family. Diana was a woman of immense strength. She moved across the country, often ahead of Papa, to set up a home for their growing family. While pregnant, she flew to California alone, a bold act in the 1950s, to start their next chapter in San Jose, where Ellen was born. From there, they moved to Massachusetts, where June was born, then to Philadelphia, always making a home filled with warmth and hospitality.
She wasn't just a mother to her own children. She had a way of making everyone feel like family. She was everyone's grandmother, Nana Diana to so many. Whether at work, in the neighborhood, or on a cruise, she adopted people, calling on the phone, bringing cake, and making everyone feel cared for. If you had something going on, her first response was always, "Do you want me to make a kugel?" And oh, how she loved to bake. Baking was her love language. Angel food cake, Jewish apple cake, her famous chocolate cake, all wrapped up in individual slices and delivered in a department store box. When she was in the hospital and they asked if she wanted anything to eat, she simply replied, "I like cake." "Do you want anything else?" "I like cake." She also had a way of making you feel like you were the absolute best. Everything was a superlative. You were the best. You're the most beautiful. She would answer the phone, "I'm kvelling," bursting with pride for her family, for her friends, for everyone she loved. And yet she always had the distinct Jewish grandmother superpower of making you feel just a little guilty when she wanted to. Grandma and Papa shared a love for the magic of live performance. Every year when we were kids, they would take us to the ice show and the circus, securing seats well in advance to make sure we had the perfect view. They wanted us to experience the wonder and the joy. It was their way of creating traditions, of making memories that would last a lifetime.
Grandma had an incredible sense of humor. She was quick, self-deprecating, and she always kept up with current events. Side note, she was a huge fan of Trevor Noah, and she would always get on the phone with me, "Oh, I love him." One time she took me to dinner, just the two of us, and she looked around and she said, "They must be thinking I'm a cougar." She loved telling stories about herself. The time in first grade when she got in trouble for breaking a crayon in half to share it, or when she went sailing on the Schuylkill River with Papa in her signature white pants, only for them to both tip into the river. After Grandpa's passing, she loved to recount when she'd done something wrong, she would always go, "Oh, I'm so stupid." And he would look at her and he would say, "You're not so stupid. If you were so stupid, I wouldn't have married you." Together, they shared this wonderfully sarcastic sense of humor that just fit them like a glove. The night that I was born, they were driving to the hospital, and he said, how does it feel to be number 7? And she said, number 7? He said, yeah, Ellen, June, Jackie, Lauren, Lisa, Greg, you. Well, that tickled her so much that from that day forward, she wore a number 7 charm on her bracelet. Together they shared this, I already read that. She was the queen of entertaining. If Papa called from work and said, I'm bringing people home for dinner, in 3 hours she could whip up a full meal from the freezer like it was nothing. And it wasn't just any meal. They always had an order. So there was perfectly sliced cantaloupe or a grapefruit with brown sugar, because she loved sugar, and a cherry on top, and a beautifully plated entree with multiple sides, and of course, homemade dessert. But beyond the kitchen, Grandma was a woman of deep kindness. She volunteered tirelessly, she read to children, she worked at the Ronald McDonald House, and she became an integral part of her community. If you met her once, you'd get a birthday card from then on forward, every single year. I have this amazing photo of her that you'll see in all the photos. At her 90th birthday, it's her standing behind her dining room table, and it is filled end to end with birthday cards. And that just shows what kind of person she was. She sent out love, and she received it back in abundance. In her later years, she embraced her Jewish faith deeply, taking Hebrew lessons, even becoming a bat mitzvah at 80 years old. It was a testament to her lifelong pursuit of growth and connection.
More than anything, we will miss hearing her voice. That thick New York accent, every time she picked up the phone and greeted us with, "Poopsie, darling," could bring a smile to your face instantly. That is probably what most of us will remember about her. She was an Olympic-level phone talker. And mostly, we'll miss the fact that she was always there, always on the other end of the phone if you wanted to chat, especially if you called late at night, because she loved her late nights. She loved fiercely, lived fully, and baked endlessly. She brought humor and warmth into every space she entered. And though she has left us, we know exactly what she would say, that she's back with the love of her life, her Bobby, and no doubt Lisa, her family, and so many friends that are there to welcome her home.
So how do we honor her memory? By doing the things that she did so well. Send someone a card or an email, make a surprise phone call, and talk for a while with an old friend. Bake. Bake for others just because you're thinking about them. And when you bake something, cover it in powdered sugar and individually wrap every brownie. That's the Nana Diana way. Plus, she'd always get to keep some for herself.
Grandma, we'll miss your voice, your laughter, your stories, your unwavering love. But we carry you with us in the lessons you taught, the meals you shared, and the kindness you spread. We love you, Grandma, and in your honor we say, I like cake. Troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up I am on your shoulder, you raise me up to more than I can be. Raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulder. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
If you're able to, we rise for the prayer of our departed, the Amalei Rachamim. Amalei Rachamim, shochen b'amrominim, hametzerei menucha nechona, tachat kanfei hashchina, im kedoshim etorim kezorah rakia, mazirim et nishmat Chana, Dina, Bat Gertrude, and Arthur. Shelach le'olama. Barachamim yasireya b'seitzer k'nafav le'olamim. Vitzra, Vitzra, Hachaim, and Nishmata, Adonai Lacharata, V'tanuach בשלום על משכבה ונאמר Amen. And once again, in the space provided, please say the name that Diana will forever be known to you as. In love, compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bonds of eternal life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And let us all say, you may be seated.